I thought you were just turning German for a second.
Yeah.
I thought he was speaking
no.
German as well.
Nine.
I had my other team speak in German.
Is that episode no? Wait, no. Well, so 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Shifty Key Podcast. I am Luis, aka Spartan Sloth, and today we have...
TJ.
Jem Servac, at last. I'm back here. Well, I think I was only gone a week. And we have a guest, actually. Who is our lovely guest? Tell us your name.
Howdy, I'm Myshu.
Howdy, I'm Myshu. That's her name, everybody.
Yeah, it's
Hello,
really hard to
Myshu.
fit on a name tag.
Do you have to
So
abbreviate
just-
it? Does it just become oh God, what is this called? I don't want to say analogy. Is that what it is? No.
No, that's
I don't know grammar.
It's like a simile.
It's like a...
It's,
see what you
is
did
it like
there.
someone else?
I see what you did there. Because she used a simile in saying it's like a simile.
Yep.
It
Okay,
means
I'm done.
simileception.
Thank you, TJ, for not stealing my job.
So, what are we doing this week?
Chatting.
What we always do. We plan to take over the world, and then we just get drifted away from it and start, eating and talking about goats. Always goats. And before Jim starts getting mad at me for talking about goats,
God, here we go.
I don't know if you guys follow Lindsay on Twitter, but recently she found out this music clip that is at the same time horrifying and also funny. Yeah, I think that would be the word for it. Have you guys seen it?
Horrifying and funny. No, I don't think I have.
Do tell.
It's a song by DJ Snake and Lil Jon called "Turned Out for What."
DJ Snake and Little John. What a duo. What a duo.
And the clip is it's just like it starts with a guy belly dropping on a roof, then he breaks into an apartment doing that, and then he just starts he starts twerking and humping stuff. It's scaring the living shit out of the lady who lives there.
Did you say
And then
he started belly dropping?
Yeah, he belly drops into the
Belly
roof. Yeah.
Like
And
so
then-
he you would belly flopping into a pool, but onto a rooftop?
Yeah, that would be pretty
Huh.
much it.
I gotta see it now.
And then he gets up and starts twerking and humping stuff. And, well, people start joining him and eventually it becomes hectic. But it's a sort of thing that leaves you wondering what the hell was going on when they had the idea, but you also question why are you watching that?
Yeah, no kidding.
So, it gets hectic. There's a lot of twerking. A lot of people join in. But it's not the Harlem Shake.
No, surprisingly not.
Is it like Achy Breaky 2?
Oh god, don't get me started on that.
I don't think I got your thought in that video, by the way. I am interested in what you have to say about it.
Oh well, I'm just getting the link for you
Just-
guys. Hold on.
Okay.
Link dump.
We call it the
So-
link shooter here, my good lady.
Oh yeah.
Oh, my new vernacular. How will I ever adapt?
I don't know what your competency level is with language.
Well then, so if you guys are aware or not, there is also, as Jim mentioned, a new version of Achy Breaky Heart, and it's like, I think the title is pretty much Achy. Hey, fuck.
It's like
It's
Achy
called
Breaky 2.
Achy Breaky 2. It is, oh
Yeah,
my God.
that.
It is terrible.
Yes, it's like it's
That
kind of like
doesn't cover it.
country music, but with, I don't know, rap or whatever. And
It's,
then-
I can see where Miley Cyrus got her crazy from.
Yes, and then they pretty much admit like, oh yeah, my daughter's batshit crazy, because there's at some point they talk about Mile twerking.
Yeah, I
They do?
Yeah,
noticed
that's a
that.
I
thing.
missed that.
I didn't
I
actually
think
listen to the
so.
whole song the first time you
They
sent that to
mentioned
us,
something.
Oh,
and then I
I
actually
think you
listened
may
to
have
it.
been thinking of. Yeah, you should. You need to watch the video. Is what you need to do. But I think somebody made the joke of it would have been really weird if Miley Cyrus had shown up and then started twerking on her dad.
Oh, no,
Because somebody made
Oh
that
god.
joke.
I really think at some point in the song he says the word twerk and something related to Miley. I might be mistaken though.
Twerk.
It's been a while, and I didn't feel like listening to it a second time.
I watched the video that one time and was like, nope, I'm good.
All I'm
Nothing
taking
to
away
that
from
for-
this is that I almost heard you say achy hate fuck, and that sounded like a more interesting video.
Wow.
Yeah,
More
it probably
parody.
would
Rule 34.
The internet
That
making
was-
it worse since 1998.
like it was before then.
No, they had to invent Dancing Baby first.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
that's right. I remember they had. I
And
was in
now
5th grade when that was out.
I
Shows you how old I am.
fuck. Which grade was I in? I don't know, man. I think when I first saw the dancing baby thing, it was on a one of those electronic billboards, you know,
I have no idea
and
what
they
you're talking
used
about.
that. Really?
I'm just gonna be honest.
I don't know, TJ. I don't know if you have
Uh,
that where
I'm
you
old.
live.
God save me, I'm old. I had a
Anyway,
guy
It's
in my
not that
class
you're
trying to tell me
old.
he made that thing. He was like, "Oh yeah, I did that." I'm like, what? No, you didn't.
Jim, it's not that you're
I think I
old.
saw
Really?
Dancing Baby on 60 Minutes,
It's
which
that
is
I
really
know
surreal.
nothing.
well, anyway, I saw that on a billboard, I guess, when I was a kid, and I was like, huh.
If you asked
That's
me what was popular on
something.
the internet when I was in 5th grade, I would have told you, what's the internet?
So, what do you think the guy who made the Dancing Baby is doing now?
Dancing Baby 2, now with more
They should
twerking.
do a VH1 video of Where Are They Now?
Viral videos, where are they now? Starring Dancey Baby.
Yeah, like interview that guy and the guy who made Hamster Dance, and
Oh my God, Amsterdam. I still remember that song.
What is hamster dance?
Oh,
Oh, I know that
okay.
Fucking that damn song, man. Oh,
and there'd be like an interview with like Homestar Runner. It's like that guy was on crack all
yep.
the time.
Myshu, Jesus Lord, Mishu.
It's Myshu.
I'm gonna get it right one day, I promise. Homestar Runner, are you an anime fan then?
Is Homestar Runner anime?
Is it? I don't know. I thought it was. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Again, we proved that I don't know what I'm talking about most of the time on this podcast.
Yeah, I don't think I have to say anything else to know that you don't know what you're talking about.
Lost.
Fucking
It was
got
a
him.
very popular Flash cartoon around the early 2000s.
Jesus, I gotta look this up. I'm thinking of something else though.
I guess you can consider it anime if you don't think about it.
Don't think about
You know, I think I started using YouTube more often, and it was still like dial-up internet. When I started watching a thing called Crazy Frog, did you guys ever heard of that? I don't know
Yes,
if it
I've
was
heard
a
of Crazy
thing out
Frog.
there.
it.
Yeah,
we all did.
I remember the day I saw that like on YouTube, and I was like, huh, this YouTube thing is interesting. And then I started checking it, and well, let's just say that I probably lost some important brain cells from ever since.
Long story short, he and Spartan Claw are getting married in April.
Barton Cloth.
Well, I had to get back at somebody pronouncing my name wrong.
Hey, I mentioned it right.
Don't worry, I have a personal stalker on this show. His name is Sim Jervac.
Oh yeah, it's Jim's doppelganger.
Yeah, I've actually been
Fucking Sim.
working with him very closely since I edited last week's podcast. Sim Jervac contacted me and he gave me all the audio files to copy over, to go over your voice.
Yeah,
Real
it's stuff
challenge.
like, "Hey Jim, how are you doing?" Give me your soul.
Oh god. Here we go with the screaming.
I don't
Hey,
think
come on.
that's exactly what happened, Luis.
It's a
Light
sort of shit he
exaggeration.
sends me.
Oh, yous guys.
Us guys.
Can I talk about something?
Yeah.
Something. I want to
Sure.
take a little literary for a minute. So I've been doing a lot of research lately into the Halo series for a fan comic I've been doing, and I started reading. I read Ghost of Onyx, which is a good book.
Yep.
And then I read Greg Bear's Forerunner saga. I'm in the middle of the third book. I'm almost toward the end. But I started to notice like a sci-fi trope in it. That's obviously it's been in Halo the entire time, but it started to get really apparent towards the end of the book, and I started to think about all the spacefaring sci-fi type things where we deal with aliens. They all start to have this like same general premise that in any given universe where we meet aliens or there's humans and aliens out there in the galaxy, even if we're not, let's say, the strongest or the smartest or the most technologically advanced race in the galaxy, human beings still somehow manage to be the core of the plot or the most important character somehow in the story by the end of it. I see, even in the example of Halo, well, Halo is a really prominent example because, you play the most badass human in the galaxy. And even though the aliens outmatch you with their technology and their numbers and everything, you end up being the key to saving the galaxy. And there's a lot of sci-fi stories that have that premise, but I wonder if there are a lot that focus more, I guess, on the aliens, I mean, where's the one where the alien actually saves the day? I mean, you have games like Mass Effect where you get whole parties full of aliens, but it doesn't. It always seems like Shepard's the key. The main character is like, well, without humans, we'd all be fucked. And it doesn't seem to be like very fair. I mean, I know it's impossible to write from the perspective, I guess, of a real, true alien. It's never really been done before, or maybe it has, and it just gets overlooked because that's not as interesting a story. People want to read about humans being the most important and the central character and saving the day. But have you guys thought of anything that goes like contrary to that or puts a lampshade on it?
Not
I have
really.
I can only think
uh
of one thing I read. There was a book I read in the fourth grade, but it wasn't about aliens. It was about dinosaurs, which was weird because it was actually the only book I ever read that actually from the point of view of a dinosaur. I think it was a velociraptor. And it went through the velociraptor's entire life, and it gave it's a POV story on a raptor, and it was one of the most unique books I ever read. I thought, I don't think I've ever read anything before that's done that because anytime there's a story about dinosaurs, it's usually about how it's eating a person.
Was
Or
it like
again, there's always a human element of it that readers want to relate to, and I don't see a lot of stories around that just cut that out or make humans like the token useless character in the background.
that's what I was going to ask. In that raptor story, was there like did it almost make him the raptor seem like it was a guy, only they just replaced it with I'm a human and replaced it with I'm a raptor, and it was like normal human society?
Yeah, just
Sort
like
of.
cut and replace all the pronouns to make it just say
Yeah.
raptor.
That's almost what it
Uh,
seems like they do in a lot of those situations.
and also the stuff like, yeah, so today I ate some other vegetarian dinosaurs, and then if you switch it up to a human perspective, that would be weird. Like, yeah, so today I ate some vegetarians.
Although, while I haven't read like books or seen movies where they specifically focus on them, I have, for instance, the Halo Glasslands books, like the entire trilogy, mainly these last two books. They've sort of delved into the realm of like looking on from the point of view of the other Halo races. Like in the last book, the Thursday War, you kind of get a look in from the perspective of a jackal, which are called the don't remember what their name is.
Yeah, I forget what their name is too. I've read all the Halo books, so I know what you're talking about, Mishu.
Yeah, it was
Um,
actually really interesting
but
because they like kind of make a point of like showing the difference between like where evolution was, like how humans being like, I mean, they don't specifically say this, but me being the nerd I am, make this connection. Like apes were like a communal species, they had these groups of people or apes that like work together. And then whereas the jackals evolved from birds and they have like a predatory, they have clans, they focus on their own, and they scavenge, which defines their entire civilization.
Yeah, it's always neat to get like another perspective and things like that. Things like that are fun to read, but again, it always ties into like how is that related to humans, or how do humans compare to that at the end of the day? Is always how books like or stories like that end up going.
Yeah, I gotta defend it and say that being that we're not a, tr- a since we're a corporeal species, I'm going to use a Star Trek term here to define us. Since we're a corporeal species, we only have one perspective, and that's our own. And
Well,
then
exactly. It's almost not interesting to read about any other
right, because
perspective because you want that hubris when you're reading these stories.
yeah,
Like, yeah, human race number one. We're number one. We're number one. Smash something, blow up a car.
that's me. I love it. There is an interesting book series um, called The Lost Frontier, or not The Lost Frontier, The Lost Fleet. It involves aliens later in this series, and when they have their kind of their second, it's kind of a second series almost. It's called Beyond the Frontier. That that involves some alien species, but it, it's not like they're intelligent species, but they're not humanoid like. Like there's a species they meet that they call wolf spiders because they're like some sort of weird cross between wolves and spiders who have a completely different view on the universe and how things tie together, and they try to explain it from a human perspective, and it's difficult to understand from our perspective. But I think that just it was a good portrayal of how difficult it can be to write from somebody else's point of view when you are not that person, or rather that species in this case.
I've heard of wolf spiders, but that takes it in a whole other direction.
Yeah, it's almost literally
Yeah,
a wolf spider.
it's definitely interesting
I,
read.
want to draw a six-legged wolf now. That'd be badass.
Actually, I've always been like really fascinated in like alien biology and xenobiology and stuff like that. Even
Yeah,
though
me too.
I have like no chance of
Bow
well, I mean
chick,
I
bow wow.
could, but I don't know. Anyway, um I've always been really interested in like just thinking about what different conditions could create different species and how they would evolve and how their species would develop. Like have you ever seen this one Discovery Channel special called Alien Planet?
I've
Heard
heard
of
of
it.
it, but I never watched it.
It's really good. I think it's actually on Netflix right now. Naturally, they might take it off like any time because that's what Netflix does. Something's good on there, so they take it off. Um, it basically follows the story of these two probes that they find this habitable planet, and they're like smart probes. They're almost like engineers is actually what they kind of remind me of from Halo, but they're not. They're more mechanical than biological. They float around the planet in methane bags, and they have like all sorts of discs and recording equipment and stuff. And basically, it just like catalogs the stories of the different creatures they meet, and they go into detail about like what the atmosphere of this planet might do to different species and how they might evolve. Like for instance, the planet has like no oceans except for one ocean that's like sealed in under like a layer of bacteria. So there's these giant like tree trunk monsters that walk across the surface of this bacterial mush, and they like have mouths on their feet that eat the bacteria as they walk across it. And they talk about how this creature is huge, but it has to be very like not dense at all to be able to walk on it. And it's I just find that kind of stuff interesting. That this is my nerd time, my happy nerd
Oh
time.
yeah, I
You know
have
what?
said that I was born 300 years too soon. I should have
Oh, you have
should have
no
been the age
idea.
of Star Trek and been an explorer.
I would
No,
You
stuff
know
like
what?
that is
explore.
really, really cool.
I have just thought of something that tells a story from the perspective of a non-human person. And you guys will probably want to beat the shit out of me for that, but SpongeBob.
SpongeBob
No,
SquarePants.
because
That's just a human in the shape of a
yeah,
sponge.
it takes the basic
Well,
premise of all
uh,
human society and puts a sponge on it.
yeah, I mean, it's kind of like what the whole thing with the dinosaur book was, you know. In all seriousness, not seriously, whatever words. There's
English.
another thing. I don't know if you guys have played Star Wars Jedi Academy. and you can choose to be an alien. Like you don't have to play as a human character. But again, it's pretty much like it's just a skin.
Yeah,
You
that's purely
can
cosmetic.
Yeah,
you can change to a human, and it's pretty much the same story. Still, Kyle Katarn is like a big part of it. Like he's the guest star for the game. But I think it's hard for us to write something like from the perspective of an alien because we don't have any contact with them. Like we don't know aliens. We are not aliens. I mean, for us, we're not aliens. So it's really complicated to know because even if we wrote something like, okay, so there's a story of an alien who wants to destroy the world and rule it with an iron fist. Okay, but we have people from our history who did this or who tried to do this. They started goddamn wars and all that, and maybe if you just change their skin, if you took a dictator out and put an alien in their place, it would probably be the same kind of thing, sort of.
well,
Well,
that's
Yeah,
friend of
this
mine
is
and I,
something we naturally do. We try to reconcile whatever an alien point of view to ours to make it make sense to us. Because it's like you said,
Yeah.
it will probably be impossible to truly write from an alien perspective. Because, well, I guess to abuse the term and beat this horse, it would be alienating the audience.
I see what you did
yeah, and
there.
like
but
the
no, it's a good
hardest
point.
thing is
I like it.
creating an entirely
It
new
is.
culture. Like if you wanted to write from the point of view of an alien race, you would pretty much have to erase 10,000 years of human history and culture to get that out of your mindset and think what other forms of civilization could an alien develop. Like it's really
Yeah, I mean, and it's a
hard to
crutch
think
to
about.
just bring the aliens here. It's like, wow, how about Superman? It's like, well, he's an alien from another planet, but they look just like us, and they talk just like us. And, he was raised in, Kansas or whatever, so he's pretty much us. He has Star Trek alien syndrome going, and just put on pointy ears or give him a cape or make him fly or something.
All
Um,
aliens make
I
them fly or something.
It's like so many comic books were written with that premise. It's like, we need aliens. I was like, all right, make him green. Like, is that it? Give him an antenna.
Green, pointy ears.
Yeah, look alien enough to me.
I think that we have to do it that way because, to our knowledge, so far there's no other intelligent species that we know of. So we imagine that if there were to be another intelligent species, they would have to mimic us in some way. So they would
Yeah,
have
that's
to
so
be.
arrogant of us, isn't it?
Well, I mean, if we're the only ones, how arrogant is it, you know? And if we get out there and we find out that we're the oldest species, how arrogant is it, you know? We don't know at this point.
We
We
may
can't
end
say
up
it's arrogant
being
if we have no idea.
we may end up influencing a bunch of young alien species, which will end
Maybe
very
so.
badly for those young alien species.
So if you're an alien and you're listening to this podcast,
We're sorry.
don't say the cuss words we use. Be nice, stay in school, and don't do drugs.
Humans are a bad influence on the rest of the galaxy.
Well, not all of them, but yeah, I mean,
Oh, come on. If you think about it,
depends.
if an alien picked up
It depends.
our modern day TV signals, they would be picking up things like Miley Cyrus twerking or
Oh my God,
stupid
they would.
reality TV shows. And then, like, in that entire clusterfuck of useless garbage, there would be, like, the Discovery Channel, which a lot of that stuff is still kind of bullshit. Like, all the
What if
ice road
there was an alien
truckers.
society where, like, eating in public or having another person see you eat was obscene? So anytime
Talking
they
about
picked up
Enterprise.
TV station where they saw like people in a restaurant eating, it's like, oh my god, it's porn.
Oh,
Are you talking about that episode of Star Trek Enterprise?
wait,
I
that
had
was
no
a
idea
thing?
that was a thing.
Oh,
Did they really
yeah.
do that?
Neither did I.
They found a species and they were going to eat dinner with them and have a negotiation. So they're all sitting at the dinner table. They all got food. So the captain's like, "All right, well, I'm just gonna go ahead and start eating." And the alien delegation goes, "That's obscene," and they all get up and leave. And they're super offended. And he's like, "What?" He goes, "What did I do?" And he goes, "I can't believe that you're eating that way." They never tell him what happens until the very end of the episode. It's a whole like plot point on it, like how just societies and cultures can be different. But when you get down to sci-fi, that's really what it is. It's a reflection upon humanity about possibilities and how we can, if we can accept others, if we can look at somebody who's physically different than us and accept them that they're different, then maybe we can do that with our own species. And that's a lot of what science fiction is. I think that's
And
also why
also,
every sci-fi show fails after like 3 or 4 seasons.
Well, that's the
and
crux of it,
also,
isn't it? That's really what stories about aliens are about. They really are about us. And what you just said, a reflection on humanity and how we would react to this
Right.
strange alien thing. Well, I guess we've
And-
exhausted that topic.
Yep.
and now I know that sci-fi is also about sexy meals.
Oh God,
Meals?
Luis. What does
Yeah.
that have to do with anything?
Hey,
I don't know, but
Jeff brought
I'm
it up.
pretty hungry. You ever see that
I just had a
Seinfeld where
burger.
George tried to combine food and sex?
What?
What?
I guess I might have watched it like a long time ago. It's been a
Nope.
while since I last watched Seinfeld.
Yeah, it's a good episode. He's like, well, eating's good. Sex is good. What if I try to eat while I'm having sex with my girlfriend?
Hmm.
So he tries it for a while, but he kind of gets his wires crossed, and halfway through the episode, he's with Jerry at the cafe, and they're eating French fries, and George starts looking lustily at his plate of French fries, and like, "You gonna finish those?" And Jerry's like, "If that's all you're gonna do with it,
If that's all you're gonna
you've
do. with it.
combined food and sex into one disgusting, uncontrollable urge." Man, Seinfeld's great.
I'll tell you one thing, that ain't mayo.
Oh God.
You.
Yeah. It's been a little. That's not the worst thing we've said on this podcast, I'm sure.
Oh no, it isn't. It's
There's still
actually pretty
Chewbacca.
light. Nah, yeah, that was you.
Yeah.
Why
So
do you keep bringing that up, TJ?
because I'm debating whether I should take the role of trying to be the most offensive person on this podcast.
You mean the asshole?
Yes, should I be the asshole? I feel like I kind of want to be the
Nah.
asshole. I
Yeah, go for
enjoy
it.
sarcasm enough to be an asshole.
Yeah, I don't know. You won't be the most offensive person until your lines are at least 20% bleeps.
20% bleeps.
I
Edit that out.
sometimes I censor myself from different things. Like, for instance, when we're recording the podcast, there's some things that pop into my head, and I'm like, if I say this, I'm either going to offend the people I'm talking to, or I'm going to offend the people that are listening to this. And I don't think I want to offend these people, because, yeah, that would be bad.
Wow, so you have an actual brain filter, and it works. Good job.
Sometimes. Sometimes not. Sometimes
that
I
thing
brain
works all the
sometimes
time.
I half say it, and then I just end up rambling on because I stop myself from saying it, and then I'm like, oh, I wasn't going anywhere with this sentence except for the offensive thing. So now I'm screwed for the rest of the sentence. Like that one right there.
Okay.
Yes.
So what have you guys been playing this week?
Titanfall.
Loadout.
Minecraft?
Don't say your penis.
Why would I say
Okay, yeah, they should do it. Oh, well,
Is
I
it?
don't know.
Nothing wrong with playing Minecraft. It doesn't have to be a new game.
that? I know, I was just didn't even think about that being the only that I think that's the only game I played this week. Except no, I played
Okay.
Star Wars KOTOR. That was
Nothing
fun.
wrong with that.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I was playing Loadout the other day, and then they announced, "Oh, TJ is playing Star Wars: Knights of the Republic." Great game.
First one or second one?
First one. I
Yeah, it's a
just
pretty
got
fun
T3
game.
and
My
4.
brother-in-law loves the shit out of it.
I think I like the second one better, but both of them are really good. I think.
I like the second one's gameplay, and the graphics are a tiny bit better. But first
I
one
think though.
is more. It's got a better story. Just gonna say that.
Yeah, well, the first one has has that real oh shit moment. At least it was for me. Like some people are like, "Oh, I saw that coming a mile away," and I was like, "This must have been what it felt like when they said, Luke, I am your father.' Like that. Must have been what it felt like because it was so shocking to me."
It's a big twist. Dun
Yeah.
dun dun.
I had
know
it
what twist you're
spoiled for
talking
me.
about. Should we? I guess we aren't spoiling it.
I was about to say, how old is the game now? It's what
It's
years?
pretty
2003.
old, but still.
Okay, 11 years old. I think it's fair. You are the bad guy.
Dun dun dun.
It's like the whole game
Luke,
you're going
you
through,
are
and they're
me.
like, "Say what?"
I was making fun of Luke. You are my fault. Okay, just go on.
Going on. The twist is that there's two bad guys, Darth Revan, Darth Malik, and you are led to believe for the entirety of the game, just about that. Well, I say the entirety, the first half of the game, that Revan was dead. The Jedi strike team had killed him, and that Darth Malik was now the bad guy. And come to find out, you are Darth Revan. So it's just a, and then they go and they show you all these little cutscenes, and it's like, oh, in this context, everything is makes so much more sense.
Yeah, Darth Malik's a douchebag.
You gotta be there I guess, to find it shocking.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, and you
Malik
have a
was
choice after
well.
that, right? You can either keep playing or good guy or douchebag.
Well, you
Yeah.
can be a douchebag the entire game if you want to, or a good guy the entire game.
Yeah, you can flip
Either
at any
way.
point. There does come a moment where there's no going, like there's a near the end of the game you have to make a hard decision of one or the other, and then that's what determines the end of the game. I figured out
Yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about.
with
See,
Bastila.
that's good writing for a game like that. Why couldn't Mass Effect 3 have something that was that intuitive?
Yeah, I mean, I don't
Oh,
know.
Mass Effect 3 was great up until the last 30 minutes. When they were like, oh, you guys like the story so far? We're going to butt fuck you.
Yeah, you almost feel like they ran out of budget. It was like an Evangelion kind of thing right here. It's like,
Oh
oh,
my
gotta
God.
cut it.
Evangelion, not even talking about that.
Oh, I hate
They
My-
just got
ending.
tired of it and was like, yeah, okay, it's a
Well,
game
I
over.
mean, they might as well put up a little banner at the end where Shepard kill, fuck, marry.
kill, fuck, Mary.
It's the option like kill or fuck.
Well, my issue with it is not the story of Mass Effect 3. If they had said in Mass Effect 3, the ending of the game, you're not going to determine the ending of the game. It is what it is. I would have been absolutely okay with the way it turned out, because in Mass Effect 3, and spoiler alert, everybody, so if you don't want to hear it, mute your
I'm taking
system
my headphones
for
off.
60 seconds here.
Are you really, Luis? Have you
Yeah,
not played
I think
Mass
so.
Effect
Okay.
3?
I guess not. In a Mass Effect 3, no matter what you do, it's the same ending. The Reapers go away, whether they're destroyed or not. They go away, and they're no longer a threat. And all of the Mass Effect relays, they're all nullified, and all of the alien species in the galaxies are isolated into whatever system they're currently in.
Although they sort of
that's it.
fixed that in the extended ending.
I
That
played the
part.
extended ending, and I went through and I played all of the different endings, and it's like it's the same. It's just whatever you do doesn't make any difference at the end of the day.
No, they can't.
And that's
They kind of stopped
Alrighty
barking. Oh, there they go again.
nope. Organic. It's
I can try and get
So
through it
are you
if
are
you
you guys
guys are
done
good.
talking
No,
about the
record
ending?
the barking. I want to hear it.
Who let
Leave it
the
in.
dogs out? Who?
well,
Who?
TJ was about to counterpoint my point, and then the dog started barking.
Yeah. In the original ending, they had the Mass Effect relays get completely destroyed, and then in the extended ending, they sort of had them kind of just like meh, like kind of just fall apart.
Yeah, they become non-functional.
Like just the rings fall apart. In the original ending, they were completely obliterated. In the extended ending, they showed it in a way that it made you think that they could be repaired, which they do get repaired. In the
Well, I mean, but the thing is that the Reapers away, and the Mass Effect relays are rendered useless.
for a time, but not permanently.
Well, but it doesn't make any sense though. I mean, difference though. I mean, at the end of the game, that's how it all ends up. Reapers are gone, Mass Effect relays are useless, and everybody's isolated for a long time, if not permanently. So that's what I'm saying, is that it makes no difference on what you do. Like, there's not like
Oh yeah,
in Knights of the Old
nobody's.
Republic, you had two options. You could either save the Republic and everybody, you're the hero, or you become the Dark Lord, be like, you know what, it's my fleet and it's my galaxy, so fuck all you guys, and you can take it all for yourself. You don't get to do that in Mass Effect. So that's my only complaint about Mass Effect 3.
Oh
It's
yeah,
the only
I
one
completely
have.
agree with you. It's you choose which way you want to die and which way you want the Reapers to go away.
Right, and that's it though. But but it's like that's just not indicative of BioWare, and I guess that was what was disappointing about it. But
It
beyond that,
really doesn't make any sense for a good ending at all.
no, it
I don't
doesn't.
know what they were trying to do with that.
You know
Yeah.
what's sad?
What?
I realize that I missed this part of the conversation, but still, I'm gonna have to do the link shitter, so... I'm still gonna hear it anyway.
Just link to Mass Effect though.
Just link to the Mass Effect trailer.
Yeah, find a video on
Okay.
YouTube that's Mass Effect endings, because I did watch a video that had all of the original
Or we can find
6
you.
endings.
We can send you it.
Yeah.
And you
You
won't
don't
have
have
to
to
look
watch
at
the
it.
video, just link it.
Oh, is it a
Okay,
video where
good.
they're all juxtaposed, where you can watch them all simultaneously?
Yeah, that's
I'm
the one
sure
I
there are.
watched. Because I played 3 different endings before the update, and I was like, well, these aren't any fucking different. And so I decided to see all the endings, and I was like, well, that was a gross disappointment. You have red, blue, or green. that's your choices. So, yeah.
Oh, don't worry. In one of the choices, everybody becomes vegan and it has green vegan juice flowing through their veins.
Yeah, that would be the worst one ever.
Do they end
I'd rather everyone
singing
died.
Backstreet Boys?
Oh wait,
What does the Backstreet Boys have to do with veganism?
Yeah, and I
I
thought you
know.
said sex with boys. I thought, man, they gotta rate that game M.
What? No.
have you guys ever seen
I
the?
don't know what game this is, but I don't like it.
Have you guys ever seen the Mass Effect poop on YouTube?
No.
It is
No.
hilarious. Where they take different audio clips and they just make up their own lines. It's funny.
Mm-mm.
That
No.
that's
No, the only poop I ever watch is the King of the Hill ones.
oh, I imagine those are interesting. But if you haven't seen the Mass Effect poop, I recommend you do. That's all I was gonna say.
Sure.
Watch the poop.
Watch the poop.
Just don't watch people pooping. That's disgusting.
Things out of context. Ooh, I gotta.
So is that gonna be
gotta
the
watch
tagline
the
for this
poop.
episode? Watch the poop.
It should be.
I don't know that we really have taglines in our episodes.
That reminds me. It's because I was gonna make a stupid joke relating poop with pickup lines, but never mind. That wasn't as good as it normally is. But let me get out of the way here a little bit. Yesterday, I went to a St. Patrick's Day party, and as I was walking out, I heard a guy saying one of the most stupid pickup lines I heard that
Oh
night.
god, here we go. Pigments.
They just approached the girl, and he was like, "Hey, I may not have blue eyes, but I am human."
What? I have blue eyes, but I am human.
Out of
Well.
no goddamn where. He just suddenly approached her and said this. I was like, "Whoa, okay."
Well, that's a call to lower your standards if I ever heard one. Hey, baby, I'm Homo sapien.
I was about to
Want a
say,
piece
I
of
make a
this?
shadow.
It's almost saying like, "Hey, I have a wee wee. You want to see
I know
it?"
you probably get this a lot,
It's
but
stupid.
I'm also
It's great
very
about
much
it.
human, and you should date me.
And there was this another dude who was breaking like all of the guy codes and talking shit about the rest of the whole male population to a girl, and who was like, "Yeah, because dudes who can't ask girls out are a bunch of wimps and pussies and shit." And then
And
the
then
and then then there's the best part. She was like, "Yeah, and I think guys who try to pick up chicks saying these kind of things are usually trying to hide something. They're usually weak on the inside. I was like,
You're weak on the
fucking
inside.
got him.
Weak on the inside.
So what does that say about
Weak on the
Tucker?
inside.
Right? We all know Tucker's weak.
Oh no. She meant like putting other people down, saying that guys are wimps if they don't ask the girl out. She was specifically talking about that, making a counterpoint to what the dude said. It
I help
was
him being
Xbox
attacked by
record
cat.
that.
First dogs, now cats. Help me.
wait, what?
What?
I don't know. Something
What?
about dogs and
What?
cats.
I said my cat's attacking me now.
Oh, that's
Oh, Myshu, did you let them eat catnip again?
No, but I probably shouldn't have bathed myself in catnip before I got on this podcast, right?
Well, yeah,
That-
that is
that's
I
a
a
rookie
understand your
mistake.
mistake.
I mean, we've all been there, but
Hey
I
Jim,
now understand where you went wrong. So,
you watch a lot of anime, right?
pretty good bit, yeah.
Have you ever seen an anime called Mirai Nikki or Future Diary?
No, I've heard of it. I think that's one of the many animes that my friend in Japan gave me. Just in case you don't know the story of Mishu, I went to Japan a couple years ago to visit a friend, and he gave me a
Oh, that's
terabyte and a
rad.
half of anime that I still have not watched. I think it's on my hard drive though. What's up? Tell
Wow.
me about it, DJ.
I was just curious because I finished it recently after a friend recommended it to me, and it was actually pretty decent. Although the ending is kind of bad, but anyway, the whole premise of it is there are these 12 people that have these different, mostly cell phones that tell them different versions of the future, and the whole point of the series is that they have to hunt each other down, which, since they all have diaries that tell them about the future, it can be challenging. And the winner of this game, it's almost like the Hunger Games, only with cell phones and murder, more murder, and less
I was about
legality.
to say it sounds like multiplayer Death Note.
That's almost what
That's
it
a
is.
pretty good description.
That's almost what it is. The winner becomes
I can get
the
behind that.
god of time and space, Deus Ex
Gotcha,
Machina.
bro.
Oh, badass powers to have. That's my superpower, y'all. I give up on the Force. I want the powers of time and space.
And basically, all these people have these different reasons for playing or different reasons for wanting to win, and it's really good. It was really good, in all honesty. It just had a really interesting. It had a bad ending, but it wasn't like a complete ending. It wasn't like Mass Effect 3 where there's nowhere they can go after that, because it is looking like they're going to have a season 2 of it. But if you haven't watched it, it's really good.
Okay, yeah. This week has been it was this past week. I think it was a bad anime week for me. I was watching an anime called Total Eclipse, and it was absolutely phenomenal until the last 3 episodes, and it just almost completely lost me with something that happened. And I was like, man, they just about fucking ruined this entire series with that one line. And
They
God,
suddenly mix it up with hentai?
no, they didn't do that.
Okay.
So you watch a
Well,
lot
it's
more
not so
anime
bad
than
then.
I do. So is it like a running theme where a lot of animes will be really good up until like the last 3 episodes when they kind of ruin it? Because I've had that happen to me 3 times now with 3
Yeah,
different
there's a few of them that.
animes. I watched
There is one.
I watched
There is
K,
one, and I don't.
I
Go ahead.
watched Evangelion, and I watched this past one, Mirai Nikki. And they've all had
E-
endings that left me with a hole where my stomach and heart used to be. I'm very sad. Very sad.
Evangelion lost me halfway through the series. Episode 13, I think exactly what episode it was, is when they lost me. When they just got so acid trippy about everything, and I was just done. I was like, I watched this show to see giant fucking robots killing giant fucking monsters, and I'm getting a damn psychological breakdown of everything. And
I think that was like the
everyone's
last 3
nuts in this
episodes
fucking
of
show,
the.
and I can't handle it.
I think that was like literally the last 3 episodes of the show, where it's like a psychological breakdown of the 3 main characters, and I literally skipped those 3 episodes. I didn't watch them. I just went to the last episode, went to the ending of it to see if there was going to be like an epic badass showdown fight between the giant robots and like the alien boss or something. And they're all just like, "Yay, surprise, good job." And then the show's over. I'm like, "What the fuck did I just watch?"
Yeah, Evangelion was a huge disappointment. Everybody's like, "Oh, Evangelion's such a good show." No, the first half of Evangelion is a good show.
Although I heard that the
You know-
movies
So
made up for
frustrating.
the ending of the show, but I haven't watched them yet.
I haven't been able to bring myself to watch any of them because of just how disappointed I was. I don't want to be heartbroken again by Evangelion.
Yeah,
so-
although like I said, I've heard that they make up for it, that they're pretty good. But like I said, I'll watch them and eventually see if they're not shit.
Yeah, I got a friend of mine who's pushing me hardcore. He's like, "Oh, you need to watch the remastered edition. It does that, gets rid of all that crap." And I was like, "I don't know. I feel like that was important to the story, so I don't think it's really going away."
My
But
friend had a really good way of putting it. He would say, "Well, at the end of the series, it seems like they got a lot of budget cuts and they had to cut down all their animation. They had to pretty much curtail the plot for that stupid bullshit ending. But then for the movie, they actually had money again. So he says pretty much like the creator going, 'You didn't like my ending? Suck my dick, Gaijin!'"
He probably just walked into his animation offices. All the animators were like sad, and they're like, "We don't want to draw another scene of the character staring into the black abyss." And the guy runs in with money, and he's like, "We can make giant robot battles again! Yes!"
yeah, that's all
Oh
I
my
know.
god, the movie is so insane though. The first one, anyway. I never saw the reboots though.
Yeah, well, that's what the majority of Eclipse is. It's giant robots versus alien monsters, and then in the second half of the series, it gets into like this. See, it's an alternate reality. It's like or alternate reality, alternate history kind of thing. After the trip to the moon, they discovered an alien species on the moon, and there was a war actually on the moon, but the aliens beat us there and then came to Earth. So history played out differently. And so it's
Yeah,
giant
because
robots versus
as everyone
monsters.
knows, we actually won the alien moon war.
Right,
you
we
know.
did. No, you're right. See, so I mean, that's why Imperial Japan doesn't exist anymore. It's because we beat the aliens on the moon.
Yeah, they sided with the aliens, and they sided wrong.
Yep, that's right, and we beat them. Beat them bad.
Makes total sense.
So but but yeah, so the majority of I was trying to say about the damn thing is that the majority of the stinking show is it's giant robots versus monsters, and then it later gets into like the kind of a political thing where it's the different nations and the UN and stuff like that. So it's a good show. I mean, the last few episodes, and it's me being nitpicky is what it is. Um, but I mean, it really is a good show, better than Evangelion in my opinion. If you're into giant robots and stuff like that. But one anime has nothing to do with giant robots. That is absolutely hilarious. It's an ecchi, but it's called Yamada's First Time, which is about this girl who's in high school as a freshman, and she's like, "I'm gonna sleep with 100 men," and she's a virgin, and it's so awkward, but it is hilarious. All the shit she goes through, just trying to impress one guy, not sleeping with anyone, mind you. It's just trying to impress one guy, and she just does the most ridiculous stuff. It's very funny.
Is
and
it
the
like
ending's good.
Easy A, the anime?
Maybe. I don't think I've seen the entirety of Easy A. I've only seen links of it, so I don't know the whole thing.
That
yeah,
sounds really cheeky.
Very
giant
very
robots.
funny show. A little bit awkward at times, but it is very funny, and the ending is good. So I did enjoy it very much.
Oh,
she get
Japan and
banged?
school children having sex.
You know what I have not seen yet? An anime or cartoon or whatever that talks about people wanting to, like, as you said, there's this one about this chick trying to sleep with 100 men. I have never seen one of a chick trying to sleep with 100 giant robots.
Oh, it's out there.
Just mixing
Rest
it up.
assured.
Take my money.
Take my money. God.
Aren't those giant? Couldn't those giant robots be like a dildo like strapped to a
I was about
jet
to say,
engine
if
or
you want to see
something.
that, I mean, that's on like every solo masturbation site on the internet. Just,
Well,
You need not go
I
far,
wasn't
my
really
friend.
talking about getting it really dirty, but if you guys want to take it there.
it's sleeping with. Sleeping with means sex. There's nothing not dirty about it, sir.
Yeah, after the robot has sex with a woman, it just pops like a waffle out of its chest. And it's like, I cooked you dinner, now leave. Here is a cab fare.
I brought you breakfast.
Something a
in
man
bed.
will never do, make you correct after the fact. That's why robots are better.
Yeah, a man would never pop a
Damn
waffle out of his
robot
chest.
stealing our woman.
Oh, okay, sorry, we derailed there for a little bit.
Well, have any of you played Fallout New Vegas?
Of
Nope.
course. Oh,
That
I guess not,
reminds
of
me,
course.
there is a sex droid called Fisto.
No shit.
Oh, amazing.
He's
Oh,
part of
God.
a quest. Like, you need to find, entertainers for one of the lesser
Entertainers
known
for
casinos
Fisto.
there. And one of them is, one of the requests is for a sex droid. And then you'll find one of those
God.
average Securitrons, and you can program it in order to become a sex
Fisto.
droid.
Oh God, it's so wonderful. I'm gonna make a dildo named Fisto now. That's
And now, and then
Jesus Christ.
the first thing he says when he's activated, it's like, please assume the position, if I'm not mistaken.
Ooh, nice.
And then it can either say like, yeah, I guess I should test you before I deliver you, or be like, wait, no, just go to your new owners. No need for testing.
Oh God.
Well, you gotta have some ray open post-apocalyptic nuclear waste future.
Yes.
There's no drinking water, but we got sex bots.
I was about to say, you drink water, and if you're very secluded and you're really ugly and you don't feel like having sex with robots or with mutants, you always have sex with a robot.
My one ray of hope
Always masturbation.
after getting
Is
brutally
it
beaten by the wasteland and getting irradiated is to get fisted by Fisto the robot.
Fisto the robot? I gotta ask though, because it's an inorganic object. Would it be sex with a robot, or would it just be masturbation?
You just
No,
blew
it's
my
sex
mind.
with a robot, dude. There's no thin slicing this. There's no hairs to split. You're fucking a robot.
But I mean, then you would be fucking a dildo.
It's
Why
making
do we call
noises
it
back at you.
masturbation?
It's making you feel like you're.
I don't know if you've seen very
you're
many
making it feel
vibrators
good.
in your life. They make a lot of fucking noise. No. Those dildos that have the little rotating gears in them, they are terrifying, dude. I would, if I had a vagina, I would not stick one in there because that thing sounds like it's fucking grinding.
How do you know what
rocks.
that sounds like?
I have a friend of mine who showed me hers.
Oh, geez, what was that movie? I can't remember it now, but it was like the plot was a bunch of aliens were sent to Earth, and their mission was to impregnate as many women as possible, but they had to get like fake robot genitals to do it, and it hummed weirdly whenever they were aroused.
No, I'm serious. Like, go into like a sex shop or something and look one of these things up. It's like the inside. I'm going to use this term. It's going to be really awkward to say it, but I'm going to say it. Inside of it like gyrates, like it's a motor, and so like if this fake penis that we're speaking of on the dildo, the middle of it just kind of moves around, and it sounds like it's grinding rocks. Like it's like, and I'm like, ugh, that sounds terrible. I would hate it. Oh God, it's a horrible thought.
Kids who want smoothies.
It is starting to sound like a blender.
Well, that milkshake brings no one to the yard.
No, I think we just lost our audience.
But we
Well, on
may
that
have
note, I'm kinda
acquired a
hungry.
new one, like, people interested in robots.
Dildos
wink.
make you hungry, Myshu? Is that what I'm getting out of this?
Oh.
On a totally unrelated note.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
Totally. Ah, crap, I didn't shut the window. All the car noises outside.
I thought I heard birds earlier.
Yeah,
Well-
wildlife, cars, cats, dogs.
Better that than Fisto.
Well, that was a lovely conversation.
Yeah, I don't know how we recover from that one.
It just
Oh my
sounds so
God.
dirty.
Not sure. Not sure where to go next.
Might as well go home now. End on a high note.
High
I just
note?
scared off. I just scared off Myshu.
I think we
Um,
just passed the high note a long
Well,
time ago.
Mishu could.
Yeah,
I guess we could go on to Mishu talking about what she does on the RT
Oh
site.
yeah.
Yeah, that was gonna be where I was. there's
I
So-
beat you
your
to it.
segue, Myshu. Fuck.
Nice segue.
Oh yeah, I do stuff. I forgot.
So Mishu has some interesting stuff going on. I'll let you do the talking.
Well, alrighty. I'm running Chupa baby adoptions right now. Chupa babies, if you're not familiar with them yet, they're kind of like a puma. I don't know. I think they look like more of a big cat. But no, they're my little red versus blue joke creatures that I create. And if you go to my profile, there's a link on my latest journal up on the RT site, or you can find a thread where you posted it. And what I have people doing is that they're drawing pictures of Chupa babies they want to adopt. Usually, like a character they really like or something they want to adopt. Kind of like Neopets. You remember that back in the day?
Yep.
Adopt little animals. And they do things like that. And if they draw it, if I see them draw it, it doesn't matter if it's MS Paint or crayons or anything your toddler could make. As long as it's vaguely Chupa baby shaped and it looks like what you want, and you get some reference pictures, I'll draw it for you and I'll give it back to your profile. You'll have adopted it. It'll be a unique adoption just for you, and you can have a Chupa baby and show it off and say, "Look what I got." But I have a lot of fun with it. I got about 50 adoptions in the thread right now going, and I think I've drawn about 20 of them. So it'll take a while to get through to everybody, but we're still having a lot of fun. I do it about twice a year, and I think if anybody wants a Chupa baby, the last day to post in that thread is going to be the 19th of this month.
I have a question because I have seen these things. Halo Sista is actually a Rooster Teeth friend of mine. She actually lives in my city as well. I've never met her in real life.
Oh, I've
But-
talked to her, yeah.
Yeah, she's not on terribly often, but as far as I can tell. But when I saw the Chupa thingies, I had the question of, I know it's a red versus blue joke, but where did the design for them come from? Like, who decided they're gonna look like this? Which was not how I would imagine a Chupa thingy looking.
Well, no, when you picture a chupacabra, you think like, well, the joke is, what's that Mexican lizard eats all the goats? And like, you picture some horrible, toothy lizard monster, which is usually the traditional depiction of a chupacabra. But I think when I was going into it, back to the way back, I guess it was it's almost been 4 years now since we started doing chupa thingies. And when I drew the first designs, I remember I ate a lot of jelly beans that night.
Interesting.
I guess if I wanted to explain it in more detail, I guess I was working on creature designs at the time. I was brainstorming for creatures, and I was watching a lot of Red versus Blue because I had just joined the site, and I was getting back into the series again. I hadn't watched it for a long time. I thought, man, I love this show, and I want to do a project for it. I want to do some kind of fan project, but I want to do something that's just something in my boat, up my alley, you know, because I drew a lot of, I don't want to say furry art because that's kind of alienating. A lot of people don't like furries, but I do draw animals and anthro art and a lot of dragons. I love drawing dragons, and that really came into a lot. It's like I want to make a creature kind of dragon-like, kind of fuzzy-like, just kind of weird, just something nobody's ever seen before, just something really off the wall and alien, but that would match in the RVB verse if I gave it a name, Chupa Thingy. And I did it. I drew up the concept sheets. I drew, I think, 4 characters from the show. I think I drew Church, Tucker, Griffin, Simmons as these creatures, just concept sheets to see how it would look. And I thought, man, I could picture myself drawing these over a long period of time. I think I'll call them Chupa Thingies. I came up with the name after the design, which was the weirdest part. And so I started drawing them on the site, and I think it was a year or 2 later, I think it was season 9 was going around when I started drawing the baby versions, Chupa Babies. Would keep the joke going, and people latched onto that because I guess it was super cute. Anytime you draw something really small and fuzzy in a diaper, people get all over that.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
I really
Go ahead.
like how you managed to adapt the characters people request. onto the design of the Chupa thingies. Like I've seen some of the stuff because I requested one, and I was like, well, I might as well check the list and see if people didn't request this one yet. And I saw some of them, like they really caught my eye. All of them are really great, but it was like Crash Bandicoot because Crash has a really special place in my heart. The
I did
Ghost
like
Rider
that one.
one, those were really good. There was also one you made as a GIF, which was the Schrodinger Chupa baby.
Yeah, the Schrodinger's Chupa. I think that was Alec or Legato 2D on the site adopted that one. He always tries to pitch the weirdest idea possible. I think he's going to adopt the Cheshire Cat from Alice in Wonderland this year, and he wants me to do another GIF for that. I said, I think I can pull something off.
So it's really interesting. I think by the time we release the podcast, the subscriptions will be over, but I'll also link like the list of the ones that were made already, so you guys can check it out. It's really cool, Myshu.
Oh, well, thanks. That is really part of the fun, seeing all the designs that people come up with and want me to try to adapt or say, try to make this X character, or a lot of times, even if it ends up being just like, draw my Warcraft character with a tail. It's still fun. It still ends up being a lot of fun, and it's just kind of a drawing exercise for me, and everybody gets something weird little fan art for them, so everybody kind of wins.
And
What is it?
also, the Chupas have like their own culture and geography and stuff, right?
It's true because, again, when I originally drew the character designs, my original plan was to make a webcomic for it, a Red versus Blue fan comic, which I have. It's at the website for it's chuparevolution.com. If you want to shit dump that or however you do it.
Shit dump.
I don't know.
Oh God.
It's a good description for my website, I guess. I'm not a programmer. I can't do HTML, but I do have a website for it. The comic's been going for a while. A lot of people like it, but to develop that world that they're in to try and explain what Chupa thingies are doing as Red versus Blue characters, I did have to adopt a whole little culture and a world around that kind of Halo verse that they already live in. So I have a lot of fun with that. I love writing, and I love drawing comics, so it all comes together pretty well. And there are some people that follow the comic really closely and pay attention to the weird lore that we've made for Chupas, and they keep stuck of that. People like Ember on the site and Devil May Cry, they have a Chupapedia that they made. It's all that weird information that I've made up along the way.
Oh, that's awesome.
What is it that you do as a living? Because I mean, obviously it's something with design, but
God,
what
I
is
wish. That would be nice. I'm a security guard.
Oh, wow, that's mildly unexciting.
Yeah, it's the only job I like right now because I actually bring my laptop to work and draw when my boss isn't looking. That's pretty much the
nice.
only benefit to that job. I don't know. It'd be nice one day to get a type of job that's in art or design or anything like that, but I don't know. It's a tough racket these days, you know.
Yeah, I mean, do you have any kind of formal education, like to go to college or anything like that for it?
No, again, that's the worst part. I don't have any college or learning I ain't learned none of them drawing things or experience. It's just something I've been doing since I was 5 years old. So I just have a lot of practice, but I don't have any requisites, anything to put on a resume that would get me a job.
Right on. No, I mean that's I mean that might very well be the absolute best thing about it is that you just have a natural talent for it. Coming from
Well,
the
I say,
coming from
as I like to try and prove in my baby threads where everybody has to draw something, that's kind of a point I like to try and make, because everybody knew how to draw at one point. You're in kindergarten and you were drawing. I mean, it all looked like shit, but we all liked doing it. We were all artists at some point. The only difference between the people who grew up to be artists and the people who grew up to be didn't is that one of them stopped.
Yeah, I'm so stuck in my kindergarten skills when it comes to drawing.
I mean, art's just one of those things you just keep going. I mean, I don't have a life, so I have plenty of time to keep going and keep trying. So that's the only reason I'm even half as good as I am. But that's the only advice. And people get disappointed when they're like, "How can I draw good?" I'm like, "Well, draw every day, draw all the time." And they're like, "I don't want that advice. It's hard." Too bad. That's the only advice we have.
Yeah, if you're ever going to be good at something, if you're going to be really skilled at it, as opposed to just doing it as a hobby, I mean, you've got to practice at it. And everybody is a drawer. Everybody draws. If you write, you draw because that's all it is. It's just drawing characters in a similar and familiar fashion to make written language.
Yeah, we all have an innate human quality to be creative in one way or another, and just some of us go off in different directions when we grow up. And so that's growing up. That's the boring part of it. And just some of us stay kids forever and become artists.
I heard something this past week that really struck a chord with me that I thought was very interesting. Is that some people they programming is a type of because it uses the same part of your brain that drawing or music composition uses, which I thought was absolutely nuts because I hate programming. I'm horrible at it and it frustrates me to no end.
I
But I just thought
actually
it
took a
was
year
really
in computer
interesting.
science at college, so I can kind of see where that mindset comes from.
Yeah, it was just one of those odd things, and I was like, wow, that is mighty interesting. That's all I had to say about that.
I left you hanging there.
No, no, I mean that's really just a kind of a one-off comment that I had, and I just thought it was a fun fact I learned this week.
No, it's fun to think about it that way. It's like art takes so many different forms. It's like, well, why not programming? I mean, you have to creatively put A to B, make the
Yeah,
computer do something. It's just an instrument like any other tool. It's like
well, for
musicians. It's like you could say it's a form of music if you wanted.
I guess for me it's frustrating because I actually like to draw. But I hate programming. So I just like no, I don't feel like they're the same at all. But I mean, if you
No,
look
they
at some
don't.
of
They
the
don't have to be. They are mostly mutually exclusive. I guess it's just
yeah,
the part of the brain is more the only thing where they connect. Yeah, I used to have I used to have a lot of fun. I thought I wanted to be a game designer at one point and do programming. I remember the most I ever got into that was I learned a little C++ and I took I found that you ever seen this program RPG Maker
hmm
on the internet? They used to have really old crappy versions. I think
oh my god, I've played
Oh
with them
yeah, I
before. I tried
remember
and
to
that.
people
make a
made a
couple.
bunch of stupid template games with it. Basically, I made a new Final Fantasy VII. Check it out. Look at my cloud. And, I think most of those games never got off the ground, but I thought it was a really cool creative tool. And actually, one time ago, I made a 20-minute demo of something. I can't remember what it was with custom sprites and artwork. And I had to do all the programming. I had to program the events. And I thought, man, games are hard. Do this again.
Yep. No, you're 100%. I back in high school, I had friends who loved that crap. I had a guy from Canada in my history class. He would come over and he would because I had a computer and he didn't, and he would he would play on my computer until my stepfather kicked him out.
Yeah, it's like, son, you better be looking at porn. You're on the computer that long. No.
No, we weren't allowed to use the computer during the week. So he's the one who played on it until one of my parents, or my mother or my stepfather, got home, and then he was kicked out. And he was like, "You need to go home now." My
Oh, geez,
stepfather
that's a
hated him.
weird thought. Did you guys ever have like computer curfews, or your parents restrict your computer usage?
Yep. When any of
Yeah, kinda.
I never
when any
really
of my
did.
grades, I'm
Sorry.
sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna.
Was
Say,
there's a bunch of Canadians in here? Sorry. You talk. No, you talk.
I never had any real issues because I never really went on it that much until lately, like these past 2 school years. I started going on more, except for one year. My mom banned me from going on my computer or doing anything on the computer or even playing video games for an entire summer. That was fun.
What do
It's
you
Wow,
do?
that's
Drop a
horrible.
baby?
brutal.
I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. Well,
So
You
that's
he,
fair.
dropped a
he
baby.
yeah, he probably stole like 5,000 cars and
That
he got
that
arrested and then he
that's
probably
Stole
killed
that
someone
sounds
in
good. Let's
5,000
go
prison.
with that.
cars. He got off easy of a summer of no computer.
I was a minor.
Uh,
I got away with it. I also got like $500,000 selling it to China.
wow.
And you can pretty much buy your computer time back after that.
Yeah. Hey mom, I have $500.
I'll pay you
Well,
$500 if you let me
It
on the
seems weird
computer
to me though.
tonight.
That's pretty good. No, it seems weird to me. I guess I didn't live in a household that had a lot of restrictions like that. I remember when we had a computer in 1996, I guess. We first hooked up to the internet, and I was in middle school. Man, how much older am I than you guys now that I'm starting to think about it?
I graduated high school in 2000.
I'm 20.
I turned
I
27
graduated
2
high
weeks
school
ago.
this
How
year.
about that?
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, I'm about Jim's age then, so I'm not out of the loop. Good. No,
Yeah,
we
no.
had.
Every week it's a running joke. I look at it and I go, "Wow, I'm a decade older than TJ." So
Jeez Louise, old people. No, yeah, but I had a computer around 1996, and we got online, and my parents didn't really control what I was looking at. I guess they thought I was good and wouldn't look at porn or something.
They
I
didn't
don't
know
know. I
what it
never
was.
did. Yeah,
yeah,
they
that
didn't really have
was
any idea.
yeah, that was it for my parents too. They didn't know like what all you could do on a computer, and it wasn't porn for me. It was video games. I was like fucking stuck on video games, man. Still am to this day.
Yeah, do you remember like the early days of like BattleNet, places
Yep.
like that?
Oh my
People were still
god.
on dial-up and get in the lobby. And like, okay, this is how you play. You gotta account for the lag. You gotta shoot 10 feet to the right.
Yeah, I was a big StarCraft player, so we would get into a lobby, and if somebody they had a bar system, you had 4 bars, it was dark green, 3 bars was light green, and then 2 bars was yellow, and 1 bar was red. And if you had any yellow, if you're 2 bars, people would vote to kick you out. Oh,
Man,
those good
dial-up
old days.
discrimination, man, it was harsh.
Well, it sucked at my dad's house because he had the same dial-up AOL that my mom had on the other side of the city, and we'd get into a game lobby, and I would have 4 green bars, and then as soon as we would start the game, my ping would jump to like 300, and everybody would freeze. And if you get stuck
Oh shit.
I think if you got stuck for 60 seconds, um, then they would give you the option to just boot the player who was lagging the game, and that was always me. So no
Ah,
StarCraft
jeez.
for at my dad's house.
Yeah, that completely sucked. I mean, I lived on a street for a long time, so just a really rural neighborhood. Because it's weird, because I lived like 5 miles away. They had 56K, and they had regular dial-up internet access. But on my street, I think the most we ever connected was like 24.6, maybe 14 on a bad day. So I guess I was red bar all the time.
Well, it wasn't even that because I was 28K mom's house and my dad's house, but it was the ping that mattered. And if your ping was high, then you were boned. Because I mean, it didn't take nothing back then to run a game.
Yeah, that was weird. Do you remember when it was you finally got off of dial-up?
Oh god, back when we had like 768K, we're like, oh my god, dude, pictures and videos load so fast.
I actually didn't get high-speed internet until I moved out to college. I think that was 2000. Yeah, that was 2005. And then
Oh man.
I had to move back out of college when I dropped out, and then I went back to dial-up. That is the most painful experience on the planet. Once you go high speed, you can never go back.
The most painful experience on the planet is a friend of mine. His family pretty wealthy. They live out in BFE with this 3-story mansion of a house, but they have super high speed internet out there. And he I had been to his house for a couple days, and my family went up to North Carolina for my aunt's wedding, and she had a free internet provider who did just dial up, and that shit was like 2 kilobits a second. That was the worst thing on the planet. I was like, oh my god.
Oh god, that was like some net zero shit.
It was so much worse than Net Zero. I don't even remember the name.
Free
of the
internet,
company.
but we put ads all over your browser, all over
It
your
wasn't
screen.
it wasn't even ads though. It was just god awful slow. It's just so slow.
I got what you paid for, I guess.
Yeah, nothing. All right, so the old folks are done reminiscing.
Well, you guys are not as old. I mean, I got the dial-up era, and you know, back when I was a wee young lad, uh, my
Hey,
parents
we
would
lad.
When I was with a wee chap.
my parents would kinda like limit my computer and video game usage. Like I could play an hour a day or something. Then it got like, okay, you can play it on the weekends and a bit more. Um, but uh, it sucked as a kid back then. But I think it might have been for the best. I don't know. Like, yeah.
Well,
I
dial-up
used to be
connections were nothing else but a trial of patience. You learned a lot that way.
I
I
used to
did.
be the worst addict to video games. Back in 6th grade, I almost completely failed because of Halo 2.
Oh my god.
Do they have AA meetings for that?
Yeah, it's called My Mom Banned me from the internet for the summer, like I said.
Oh, that's
And then
why.
the next year, it was like the first couple weeks after the school year. I think she finally decided to let me start playing the Xbox again, but she wouldn't let me get on Xbox Live. But then one night when she was at work, I recovered my account, my Xbox Live account, which still had some gold on it, and she got me Halo 3 because I'd been waiting for it so long. Played it, and I signed into Xbox Live, and I was just at home playing around with Forge because I'm like, oh, it's so cool, I can make my own map and all this other stuff. And an old friend that I hadn't talked to in the entire, like, over the course of the entire summer, somebody that I'd played with like nonstop during the school year, randomly joined my game and just started talking. And my mom heard the voice coming through the TV, and she's like, "Are you online right now?" And I'm like, "No, it's not me. I didn't do it."
It's like you violated your probation. That's like when you get out of prison for like drug charges and you start running into old people you knew you used to deal.
Oh God, yeah. My parents would ground me from anything gaming or computer related. If I got a C in any of my classes, which without fail, I always got a C in math, and like I would, they would let me go the first 9 weeks of school, with playing video games. I would get a C in math, and then they'd take it away, and I would continue to get a C in math for the rest of the year, just because I'm terrible at math. It, and so it
Boned if you do, boned if you don't.
right. So I mean, I didn't give a shit. And anytime that they were not around, that I was free, I would absolutely be playing video games of some form or another. I can't tell you how many game save progresses I lost when I was younger because I would have to shut off everything in a super fast hurry if they showed up unexpectedly.
Oh, you poor things.
Yeah, well, that's life.
I don't know. I always got like straight A's, so I guess they never tried to ban my video games or anything.
Oh,
My mom
rub it
would
in,
try
why
going
don't you?
like, "You're addicted to this internet thing." I'm like, "Well, I'm doing good in school," and she's like, "Damn it, I can't argue against that." She'd walk away.
Yeah, my grades improved in every other subject when I was allowed to play video games again, just because it was my way of decompressing. Because I hate TV and I can only do books for so long. I love reading, but it's got to be military sci-fi, or it's pretty much dead to me.
My grades were never affected by my gaming. It was like my parents just limited it because, you know, just for, I don't know, the hell of it. But probably
How
also because
sadistic.
it's because like they were afraid I would probably get hooked on video games, and
Which you did.
well, no, I didn't. And
Just
it's
kidding.
like I was a child, and you gotta understand when a child is excited about something, they will only talk about that. So usually I would talk about video games, and they'll be like, "Yeah, you just talk about video games all the damn time. So we're gonna have to limit your usage." And I was like, "Oh fuck, god damn it!"
I don't know. Our kid's
But
interested
still,
in something. Quick, stifle it.
Exactly.
but still,
It's
like
not football.
I've always been a great. Well, okay, this is the part where I start being a show off, kind of. But I've always really liked reading, and I've always been a big fan of reading, and that never really stopped. I still love reading, so I don't know. Well, but you know what? I think.
Should we
Oh
move
well,
on to questions?
looking at the time here, perhaps we should skip to the questions, if you guys don't mind.
Skip.
Yep.
Ah,
Good
do
with
it.
that.
All right. So this week we have two questions by Spencer, and so I'd
AKA.
like to answer. Oh yeah, Spencer, aka Darkside89X, and I'd like to answer those because I think they're really interesting. Um, so, and well, okay, I'll do the advertisement later. So Spencer asks, "Who gives the best snuggles?"
I do. Next question.
That depends on how you snuggle, brother.
It depends on who we're talking about. Let's just say I'm tempted to answer Fisto, just for shits and
Fisto,
giggles,
Fisto
but
gives the best snuggle.
I don't want to have this as my official
Oh my
answer
God.
because I don't want people figuring wrong
It's-
stuff.
It's hard to argue with a Fisto giving the best snuggles.
What about Kit
It is really
Fisto?
hard to argue that.
Fisto's programmed to
Fistomatic.
love.
I bet
Well,
Fistobot has a shake weight.
Oh God, shake weights. I would say depends on who you are snuggling with.
To
yeah,
be
I think
fair,
it all depends on the other person.
I don't think any of us have ever been within 100 miles of each other, so we can't really gauge each other's snuggliness.
That's true.
Hey, no comment here.
Can we though?
Mishu's like, I am not opening that can of worms.
Okay.
Okay.
So we don't have enough data to answer one of us, and so we'll
Inconclusive.
probably all just stick with Fisto. And he also asks, what was your game of the year for 2013? I would say I'm really
For
torn between, and
2014 or 13?
no,
13.
13.
I was gonna say.
I think I've already covered that once, but
Yeah, I think we
I'm always
did.
really torn between BioShock Infinite and Assassin's Creed 4. I'll probably stick with BioShock because I got pissed off at the online features in the single player aspect of the gameplay. So because of that, well, and also because BioShock Infinite is a fantastic game. So yeah, that's it. You guys?
I think I'll go with, even though I've never played it, I watched somebody else play it on YouTube. Last of Us seemed like a very good game, good story. You know, that's my choice since I officially denounced Grand Theft Auto 5 for not being finished.
Who did you watch play Last of Us?
Have you ever heard of Frankie on PC in 1080p?
Nope.
Well, that's who I watched play it. He's a British guy. He plays a lot of Daisy and Battlefield, but sometimes.
Okay, I only
play
watched
through some stuff.
Two Best Friends play Last of Us, and that's a very different experience.
Yeah, it probably is. Frankie kind of just added some commentary in some places, but mostly like let the story speak for itself. I imagine Two Best Friends were, yeah.
Shitstorm.
I'm pushing the button still. I just realized that.
Well,
I was like waiting for everybody to talk, and then I saw my little blue light still on. I'm like, oh crap, my thumb's on the button.
I would say go back to podcast, whatever it was, 2 or 3, where we had this discussion more in depth, because I remember being torn about it because it was a question I had for everybody, and I don't rightly recall exactly what I said at the time, but I remember being torn between a couple different games. So I would say
So
go back
you
and
just
listen.
brought that up to say you don't remember what you said when you brought it up the first time.
Well, let's say I was bringing it up to say I have an opinion on it, but I forget exactly what it is off the top of my head. And for time concerns, I would prefer you just go back and listen to the other podcast. That's back when we had our
Yeah.
old
Pass
intro and
plug.
outro.
Okay, what about you,
all right,
Mishu?
so there you go.
Any game?
What was the fucking question?
Favorite
What's
game,
your game of
2013,
the
go.
year for 2013?
All right. I guess of all the ones that I watched Let's Plays of, I guess I enjoyed the BioShock Infinite one the best. So there's a ditto on that one. I don't really
BioShock
play a
was
lot of
one.
games. Not much anymore. Like I said, I don't have a life. I have to spend it all drawing. But I do watch a lot of Let's Plays, and anytime I find a good one or any game that particularly a plot I want to see, I do have make time to check it out. And BioShock Infinite did impress me the most in that one.
All right. Oh yeah, and Mishu, we also do this thing where we ask our guests to ask the audience a question in the hopes that the audience will answer the question.
vain hope.
So just before you'll have some time to think about it while I do the shameless plugging here, guys. Ask us questions. We have the thread on our group, or you can send it to our Twitter, YouTube comments. You can send us letters with them, or phone messages. We'll give you TJ's number if you want.
You know what I think we
And
should do? I think we should
what?
go into the list of the members in the group, and we should call out every single person on the podcast and tell them to send us a question or an answer.
Okay, yeah, that's a possibility.
Looking at you, Dominic.
Starting with Dom.
Wait, is Dom, or am I thinking of someone else? Is Dominic listening
And
to us?
Matt,
Matt.
Matt usually asks like a fuckload of questions when we get into questions stuff. So come on, please, all of you, and also answer the questions we ask you guys. We really want to hear what lies deep inside the depths of your minds.
Speak for yourself.
Okay, I got it.
Okay. So go
All
ahead.
right, audience, help me settle a bet. Are you circumcised or uncircumcised?
Okay.
Settle a bet. Hold on. I'll answer this question. I'm fine answering this question. What's the bet?
Oh, that's better without context.
Nope.
Is it though?
I want to know the bet. That's all. I don't want to take in the bet. I don't want any stakes in it. I'm just curious what the bet is.
No, if I explain it, it's boring. Trust me. I just want to know if you're cut or not.
If you're cut.
For science.
Right.
Yeah, and that question also applies to the ladies. So
What?
Yeah, I hear they
What?
do that in Middle Eastern countries or something. Yeah, maybe.
Huh?
But does it also
fuck
count
up.
as a circumcision?
No. You gotta have to be circumcised.
Yeah.
No,
What
they
lady
can
do
cut
you
your
know has a
clitoris.
penis?
They do it. I heard it's a practice in some Arab countries to decrease
I know.
the libido of their wives.
Yeah, I
Some
know they
fucked up
do
shit like
that.
that.
Yeah, that's
But is it a circumcision? Is it like the same category of operation?
I guess you're going
Well, you
down
don't
there
do
to
it
cut
at-
something.
The
I
same
don't know.
category
you don't
as
do it at
in-
birth, though. You do that, I'm assuming, later in life.
I know. It seems like they do it when they're so young. Or
Like I said, the
something.
less
I'm
we
no
talk
expert.
about this, the better.
Oh
Okay.
my god.
Well, once again, we're no experts on that
I'm
kind
not
of
an
stuff.
expert on Middle Eastern cultures, but that seems unwise to me.
Wow.
So
I guess we'll
answer
never
the
know.
questions, and ladies, if you want to answer if you're circumcised or not, or you can tell us your theories about whether having a vagina is considered a circumcision or not. Leave it in the comments.
About
forum
having
thread,
a vagina is
Twitter.
whether that's a circumcision or not.
Yeah, if they think it counts as a circumcision or not, let's talk about it. Or maybe I don't know. Just you know what? That's it. Let's wrap it up.
Oh my god.
Good idea.
Well,
Great note to
Myshu,
end the
once again,
podcast
thank you
on.
so much for participating. Thank you all for listening.
Hey, it was really good to meet you guys.
Yeah, nice to meet
Good
you
meeting
too.
you too, Mishu.
Oh, you guys said it at the same time.
Oh well, it was lovely meeting you as well, Mishu, in an internet sort of way, and I'm surprised that we had as much to talk about as we did. I've seen you on the site, but I didn't know that there was so much to you.
Oh, well, shucks. Shoot, any of y'all going to be at RTX?
I am.
Sadly, no.
Well, Jim, I guess I'll meet you there.
Well, that's lovely. Sounds absolutely wonderful.
Me and Luis
I mean,
Alright, that's
I
a
can
wrap.
send
here.
a strand of my hair and be creepy about it if you want to.
Let's not and say we didn't.
I'm going to find out if Jim's circumcised next time.
I'll PM
On the
you.
RTX special, is Jim circumcised?
We'll do,
On the next
we'll call it a
episode of Myshu,
circumcast.
the answer for the question is Jim circumcised.
The
Yes,
first
God
Shifty
Lord.
Keys
I'll
video
admit
podcast.
it. Yes, I'm circumcised. I'm circumcised. I'll admit it.
Okay.
All right then.
Oh, you guys.
Wrap it up. So everyone, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.
See you next
Bye.
week, guys. Bye.
Bye.
Mishu doesn't want to say bye.
Bye.
Yay,
Yay. Let's stop.
penis.
This podcast intro and outro music is provided to us by TDBTyler. You can find him on Rooster Teeth by searching for his name, TDBTyler, and looking for his group, Oh the Humanity, spelled O-H, exclamation point, THECOMMANATEE. You can also find more of his work on YouTube by searching for his channels, The Dropped Banana, all one word, and Oh the Humanity.